Hello, this is Pavel, and this is today's brief. I build technology for service companies, and on this channel, I look at what technology changed for business, not the tools themselves. This video has one contradiction from start to finish. Employers are hearing two messages about AI, almost in a loop. The first message is, if you want AI to work inside a company, we need to document our processes. And it does make sense. We need people to explain exactly how they do their job, which decision they make, which exception matters, and what they know that isn't written anywhere. And in the same time, almost in the loop, there's a second message. AI is about to replace people. Put those messages together and listen to what the employee hears. Please transfer everything that makes you valuable into the system that makes you unnecessary. Then management looks at the hesitation and says, hey, we have a resistance to change problem. Of course we do. We created it. And that is not new. Resistance to change is the attribute of any change through the organization, through the company. But now we accelerated it. Change has been always the hardest part of digital transformation. AI makes it harder because it needs what employees carry in their heads. A process document can describe the normal path. It rarely contains the conversation that changes the decision. The customer who requires a different approach, or an experienced person feeling that something is not right. Michael Polanyi gave the problem a name. We know more than we can tell. And this is important. It is the mind-wrecking revelation for everyone who is building information knowledge for the company. The company needs employees to contribute examples, exception, corrections, and judgment. But if they believe the purpose is to remove them, their knowledge becomes their last form of security. The research calls the result knowledge hiding. When AI threatens professional identity, people become more protective of what they know less. Then can be rational response to the future the company described. You cannot frighten people with a replacement and then act surprised then they do not enthusiastically document the path towards it. With any technology, the builders sell the benefit and the critics describe the danger. With AI, though, some of the strongest warnings come from people building it. Anthropic CEO Dario Amodei warned that AI could be eliminating half of the entry-level white-collar jobs and push unemployment to up to 20% with several years. He might be right. I strongly believe he's not. There's no evidence you can take the last 100 years and measure technological improvement, and no surprise that it did not create any unemployment. The fact is that 80% of the job that exists now, probably 90% of the job, could not be even imagined existing 100 years ago. That's a fact. But no unemployment by eliminating the whole industries of work in the last 100 years, you can stretch it further, exist. But nonetheless, imagine how this message sounds inside the company. On Friday, one of the leading AI builders says the white-collar bloodbath might be coming. Next Monday, your manager asks you to train the new AI on everything you know. We cannot market an apocalypse and demand trust at the same time. But the evidence is not that simple. The International Labor Organization examined roughly 30,000 tasks because most jobs combine many tasks and still require human input. It's concluded that transformation is more likely than replacement. The job is not one task. Automating a task and eliminating a person are two different management decisions. Now, let's come from the different angle. We often draw the future as a contest. Human on one side, machine on the other side, and eventually the machine becomes powerful enough to push the human out. But the AI does not walk into the company and choose which job to take. It does not create the staffing plan, set the cost target, decide what customer should receive, or give itself permission to act. Human do. Somebody chooses the objective, someone connects the data, someone grants the authority, someone can narrow that authority, redirect it. People can switch technology off. We have examples. For the last 15 years, we click in mindlessly in every website consent for cookie collection. Nobody reads it, nobody knows what it is about, so there's a general consent that it makes us more secure and exposes less of our information. Technology people know that websites do not work without cookies. Nonetheless, we continue doing this. The machine is powerful, but it still operates inside a human-designed business model. If management gives AI one objective, produce the same output with fewer people, then replacement is the predictable result. But that's not the only objectives available. Management could ask a different question. What could this company finally do that was too expensive to do before? The technology does not choose between those futures. Every business has a second company hiding inside it. It is made from work people know should be happening but cannot afford to do consistently. That would be proactive updates, better onboarding, deeper analysis, follow-up after the service, proper training, new customer service. Ask any team, what should we do more, often, or better? And the list appears immediately. Everyone knows what we should be doing and we're not doing, or we should be doing better, but we have no time. And reasons are not enough people, takes too much time, or the service that could cost more to provide than customers would pay. In my experience, that unfinished list can approach 50% of the work surrounding an operation. It is not universal stats. It is the pool of value the company recognizes but cannot reach with its current economics. This is opportunity hidden by the replacement conversation. If the AI only plans to automate existing work, the best possible future is the smaller version of the present company. Make previously unaffordable work possible, and the company can become more useful than it was before. Now, look at another argument. Technology changes a job before it's eliminated. We've seen this pattern before. When automated teller machines spread through banking, the obvious prediction was the teller would disappear. The machine performed a most visible task giving customers cash. Economist James Basson documented what happened next. ATMs reduce branch costs. Banks opened more branches and teller employment expanded for the period even while each branch needed few tellers. The role moved from counting cash toward relationship, problem solving, and financial services. That does not prove every technology creates more jobs. It proves that automating the visible task does not tell you what happened to the surrounding service. Lower one cost and demand can expand. A service that was too expensive can become normal. The work changes because the economics around it changes. The replacement frame asks whether the teller machine survives. The expansion frame asks what kind of bank becomes possible when cash handling is no longer the human work. And now look at from the angle of what actually we looking to free people from doing. For roughly 40 years, business technology forced humans to translate the real world into the format computers could understand. A customer talk, a person types it in the field. A document arrives, a person copies it into the table. Something happens, a person selects the value from the dropdown. Millions and millions of people become the translation layer between messy reality and the structured databases. AI flips that relationship. It can increasingly read the conversation, document, photograph, and unstructured text directly. It finds structure inside the mess instead of requiring the humans to create it first. That obviously removes work, but mindless retyping is not the highest impression of human value. The opportunity is to move people from making reality understandable to database into making the service useful to your customer. Let the machine summarize the conversation. Let the human notice what the customer is afraid to ask. Let the machine monitor thousands of events and let the human decide which one deserves attention. Let the machine prepare the routine answer. Let the human own the consequence. That is using technology to give human a better level of work. So now we come to a conclusion. Before asking employee to document the process, document something else first. The larger capacity you're trying to create. What will company be able to do that it cannot do today? What will customer service receive? Which neglected work will finally happen? What targeted responsibility will people take when the lower level activity disappears? Do not promise that no job will change. Be specific about what changes, why, and where the release capacity should go. Let the people doing the work help design the future instead of asking them only to document the past. Because if your offer is, help us build a smaller future for you, resistance is not a culture problem, it is a common sense. The better offer is, help us build a capacity none of us could deliver before. AI can shrink the existing company or enlarge what it can do. The tool doesn't make that decision, management does. So stop beginning with the question, how many people AI can replace? Ask, what valuable work can finally afford to do and what bigger job can we give people because of that? The tool is never the point. What changes is, and I'll see you next time.